What makes a good solo game? First and foremost, and this probably isn't explicit to a solitaire game, is I need clear rules, right? They need to be well written. They need to be well organized. They need to be something that I can follow along fairly easy with, and then also reference easily in the future. So sometimes a really good index is great to help. Also, I think that it's really important for a rule set to have good examples, right? Because sometimes when you can write the rules out and everything makes perfect sense to the person writing the rules, right? But sometimes an example, a gameplay example, really helps connect those dots to the rules as they're. Just as important, or maybe even more important, is the bot or the AI. You want a system that is going to run itself fairly well, that's going to be challenging, but not so challenging that you never win, but not so easy that you always win. I kind of like to play a game where the first few times I probably end up losing. That's a good bot to me. But as I get more experienced, I win more consistently. Not all the time. I still like to lose because that means I'm being challenged. So you want the game to be difficult and good, but not impossible and not too easy. You want to find that kind of that sweet spot. Another thing that's important to me is it can't be random. The decisions that I make throughout the game should play a role in how the game plays out. It can't just be roll a bunch of dice, look it up on a chart, and that's how the game goes. Right? Now, a lot of solitaire games do have a lot of charts, and they do have a lot of dice, and that's by necessity. That's how they run. But they should accentuate your decisions, right? They should make your decisions make more sense. They should follow a logical path. It shouldn't be completely random. The decisions that I make, like what weapons I take on a certain tank, or how much torpedoes do I load in the U-boat before I go out on a patrol, should all play an integral role into how that game plays out, right? So we want to make sure, or I like to make sure, that the game is not totally random. On the flip side of that, I do like a little bit of randomness. I think that adds to the replayability of the game. I think that means that there's some surprise and some suspense to the game, right? Because part of the appeal of playing with another person is you never know exactly what it is they're going to do. So there is some randomness to other games too, because maybe they conceptualize the strategy in a different way than you do. Maybe they conceptualize the victory conditions in a different way that you do. Random dice can help with that as well, because it kind of shows that maybe this artificial intelligence, or the bot, doesn't always behave the way that you think that it should. That's okay, right? Because your opponents, when you play multiplayer games, don't either. So it's all right for them to be a little bit random. You just don't want the randomness to control the entire game. Also, very important in my mind is that the game needs to be replayable. I don't want to purchase a game, and let's face it, some of these games are pretty expensive. You can spend anywhere from $50 to $150 on a game or a module, and I want to be able to play that game more than once. If you find a game that has lots of variations, sometimes that can be because there's different missions, there can be different campaign games, sometimes they come out with expansions. All those things are great and really add up to the game being replayable. So I think that's very important as well.